Hey there, we are Ebony and Amy from 10 Open Tabs Virtual Wellness Center, and we are an online, obviously virtual wellness center for busy women who are ready to eat real, move often, and breathe deep, no matter how big or small those steps are that they're ready to take. And today we are having our first video in a series. We're just bringing up some different topics that we feel are important to our members and potential members out there.
Right.
Putting our 2 cents in so you can get a little idea of how we operate within the Virtual Wellness Center.
Yep. And we want your 2 cents too, so you can always comment and leave us feedback, tell us what you think.
Absolutely.
So we're excited. So we just, we have different things that we find ourselves talking about with our girlfriends, with each other, and even our daughters, and we just have all these topics. So our first topic is body image.
That's a sticky one.
It is. It's pretty bold of us, I think.
I know, right? Just right out of the gate. Let's just go there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. I mean, for myself anyway, I can only speak for myself. There are some days where I'm just, it's not a good situation. But the days when it is a good situation, I try and figure out why that is. Like, I'm like, all right, so what's going on? Like, nothing changed between yesterday and today.
Right.
Like, literally yesterday, I put on like 3 outfits and I was like, no. And today I'm like,
yes.
Because I went and I sweated. I worked out hard in Zumba. I ate a good breakfast this morning. I'm hydrating. Like, when I'm doing things where I'm feeling good about myself, I'm feeling good about myself. I'm pretty sure I look the same.
Yeah, you do. From one day to the next, yes, you do. Over time, maybe not.
Right,
but,
right.
From one day to the next, absolutely. Sorry, I got distracted by something for a quick second. But I think what's going on there is it's that whole, it's the oxymoron that I always talk about with people who can't get off the couch to exercise. And it's like, you don't want to do it because you hate doing it, or you feel like crap, or you don't want to put the exercise clothes on, or you don't want to go where you're going to be seen, or any of those things. But then the flip side of that is, once you get past that and you actually go and do it, you feel so much better.
Yeah.
Not just physically, but in your headspace too. It's exactly what you're talking about. And, just getting out there and doing it, and it doesn't have to be out someplace and be in your own house,
right.
But going through that process actually changes your brain chemistry to make you feel better about yourself. So if you can just like make that first move, that can be the difference.
Absolutely.
Part of it. I mean, there's so
a
much
sticky
more,
subject.
yeah.
Like there's so many factors
right.
to it, but that's a huge piece of it. And it's hard because when you have those days where you are getting dressed and it's like, bleh, bleh, and then we tend to just kind of go right into that, right? So it's like, oh, what does it matter? I'm just going to eat this anyway. Like, I'm already... So it's like this slippery downward slope, and it's hard to pick ourselves up from.
Yeah.
But then it's the balance, too, because some days you are just going to be... and you are just going to eat what you want to eat because you want to.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you have to do it again tomorrow. That's just one day out of all of these... days. So it's the balance.
Yeah. And because that negative self-image that on that bad day, it might actually serve as some motivation to get you moving, but that only lasts for so long. So that's why I think it's super important to try to adapt ways to improve your own self-body image, because that negative motivation will work for a little while. You'll be like, oh God, like especially that day when it just hits you and you're like, oh, what have I done? Like, I've got to start, I've got to get moving. And then you will, and you get it, and it might last 4 days or something. And then you're like, oh, this sucks. And then you're moving into that, rather than that being motivating, it's more like punishment.
Yes.
And then you're like, okay, now I'm punishing myself because I hate exercising or whatever it is that you're doing, because you're not picking the right thing. You're just doing what you think you should be doing, not what actually works for you or feels good to you. And then you move into that punishment cycle and you start saying, oh, screw it. I'm just going to be fat forever anyways, and I don't look good, and I never will, so I'm just going to pig out on this, and I'm just going to be lazy and do that, and then it all tanks.
Right.
And then you're just in a way worse off spot. So
absolutely.
I think if you can get your head wrapped around, we had a really good workshop in our wellness center recently, and that stays there for anybody who's a member. You'll see it. With Anissa Mason, and she talked about it was kind of a new way of looking at eating. But one of the things that stood out in my mind was how she looks at it as like her body is just a vehicle for carrying her spirit around, and it's like, I like that image that puts in my head, and it's true. You want your vehicle to be in the best shape, just like your car, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing better if you want to be. It's not just about how you look.
It's not how you look.
It's not the number or how much you weigh or what size you are. It's like, if you can think about it from like how you want to feel and how you want to be most effective in your life.
Right.
Because when you feel like shit, you're not effective.
You're not effective to yourself or anyone around you, frankly.
Yeah, or any of the things that you're responsible
absolutely.
for. Your job, your passions, your kids, your husband, your friends, your whatevers. If you are not well,
right,
you're not doing
anyone any favors at all. Mostly yourself, but you're really doing a disservice to everyone that you are trying to be the best mom and the best wife and the best friend and all these things, but you can't pour from an empty cup. So it really boils down to that. And I think also, like when we talk about body image, it's not even, it's being kind to yourself. Like, my body is awesome, even on the days when I'm like,
when you think it's not.
Yeah, it's awesome. It got me out of bed. It got me into my car. Like, I can walk freely. I can do all these extra hand movements, and I don't have, nothing hurts me. And my body it's in really good shape, and I work out and I take care of myself. I eat good things. So it might not look like how I see bodies portrayed all around me every day, but it's my body, and I work pretty hard at it, and I'm strong. And so it's those types of things, and those are like the conversations that I have with myself when I'm having my days, and I'm just like, oh, but this, why can't this be flat? And I'm like, because it's not flat.
Right.
It can't be flat because it's not flat. You had 3 beautiful children. You are.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
Yeah,
it's like let's bring a little realism into the picture.
Exactly.
Yes, maybe you could train with somebody intensely and go on like some really hardcore thing and do fitness modeling. There, I have no doubt that if that's what you put your mind to and wanted to do, you could do that. But most of us don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't.
And, so getting comfortable with what your kind of set point is like, and it's different than it was 20 years ago.
Exactly.
It's different than it was before you had kids. It's different than it was when you were a high school athlete.
Right,
exactly. Like, I think too often people get stuck in their brain back to how they looked back then, and they're like, oh, I just want to get back there again. And it's like, but do you? Because first of all, what's that get you? Like,
what was different about your life then? Right?
Yeah, well, why will you be happier now or
right.
more, anything better now just because you wear that size? If you have been through a lot of things between now and then,
right?
And let's just be grateful for where you wound up, and I think just start taking care of yourself. The rest will fall into place, at least to the point where it's normal for you. we need to stop comparing ourselves to everybody.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing.
That is so true.
That's what makes body image the big problem.
I agree 100%. 100%. And I noticed for myself also, when you talk about comparing people, like, and I don't know if I'm being too transparent or not, but here goes. But I notice when I am less judgy of other women and their outfit choices, I'm kinder to myself as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do I care what somebody decided to put on their bodies?
Right.
To, like, and when I was younger, you know, that was conversation. It was things to talk about with your girlfriends. And, oh, did you say that?
Yeah.
But I mean, now the less that I will look at an outfit and appreciate it. I'll compliment people when they look good. And then when people don't necessarily look good, I'm sure they feel good about themselves, and I admire that.
Actually, I do the same thing. I'm like, maybe my brain goes back to that place for a second, like, oh, Jesus, you know, like, what is she thinking? And then I think, well, good for her.
Absolutely.
Like, that she felt good enough to put that on. I'm okay with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're like, kudos, you know?
Because that's the goal. Like, we should be comfortable in our own skin and wear things that make us feel good.
Not what other people care. Well, yeah. We're not dressing for anybody else.
Right.
Dressing for yourself.
Exactly. And when you feel good, you look good. Like, and it's inside out. It's just, oh, it's so true.
Mm-hmm. It definitely radiates.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence. And how you look is definitely noticeable.
Yeah, hand in hand.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think so too. Yeah.
This is fun. I think we might become pros at this.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have a little talk show one day.
Talk show.
Yeah, perhaps. So, I mean, there's so much that you could say about body image, but I think if I had to like narrow it down to like a handful of things, because my hope is that you're watching this and you take something away from it, you have something to contribute to it. But really, if I could like give my 2 cents on something to take away, I would say be kind to yourself is really the ultimate thing. Because if you're really focusing on being kind to yourself, and when we talked about the intuitive eating, you know, eating things that we're just like food is a thing for me. Like, it's a relationship that I'm always working on. And I think that's true for most of us, where it's a constant. Yeah. So pausing and paying attention, like, okay, I'm going to eat this cookie because so-and-so made me mad. And sometimes you eat the cookie and then it's like, oh my God, why did I eat that cookie? Mm-hmm. So now you don't necessarily feel good about yourself. And it's not because you ate a cookie. It's because you just went, shh. And now it's really just being kind to yourself, paying attention to what you put in your body, paying attention to how you move your body. And exercise is supposed to hurt. I tell myself that all the time. Like, it's not supposed to kill me, but it is. I'm supposed to feel it. Otherwise, it's just kind of going through the motions. I struggle with that balance. And you have to be kind to yourself when you're working out too.
Yeah, don't go nuts because you think you're supposed to be hurting.
Exactly.
It shouldn't hurt. You should feel
it.
Challenged. Mm-hmm. But you shouldn't be in pain. Right. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Because then you might have to stop what you're doing.
Exactly.
You might get injured and then be on the couch for another 2 weeks because you got to recover.
Right.
But, yeah, I think that challenging yourself is a hard one for a lot of people that are not necessarily big exercisers. Mm-hmm. They sell themselves short a little bit, I think. You know, going to the gym or going to the class or doing whatever, and then just kind of going through the motions. Mm-hmm. And then they get upset with themselves because it's not, their body isn't changing. But you know, if you're not like being real with yourself and really pushing it, you got to push it a little bit.
You do, and you have to. Like, everyone's different.
I mean, it depends on what your goals are too.
Absolutely.
Moving, just going for a walk is a good thing to do. I'm not saying that you have to, be pushing it. You know, that's still good for your body. Moving in general is good. but just depending on if you're having bad body image
Right.
issues and you do want to try to at least, you know, make some changes. Like,
Right.
I'm not saying that, I guess that's maybe a point to talk about, like, because we kind of are going back and forth between, like, you know, it doesn't matter what you look like, but at the same time, there's like a fine line there.
Well, it doesn't matter what you look like as long as you like what you look like.
Well, right. Yeah.
So you have to have a realistic image for yourself of what
Right.
you want to look like, how you want to feel. So,
but also, I think, take into consideration, are you healthy at the same time?
Right,
Because
which-
you could be like, you know, morbidly obese and be okay with it, but then, well, that's not good either.
right, you're not healthy.
Because if your doctor's telling you you're morbidly obese, then,
Mhm.
you know, you got to make some changes
Right.
if you plan on sticking around.
Right, because
So-
most of us, again, have people that we are probably taking care of, looking out for. We're a support system. Like,
Yeah.
there's people in our lives that rely on us. So I always think, because I know so many people that are like, well, you know, I got to do this for this and this for that. And it's hard for them to factor in themselves. So even if you have to think about it from the aspect of, you're not really doing them a service if you're not taking care of yourself, because what's going to happen when you're not there?
Yeah, right.
So it's
Yeah.
a huge thing. It's a huge thing, but it really, and having people that you can talk to makes a world of difference. Like,
Yeah.
having people you can have honest conversations with and just be transparent with. And I don't know if support system is the right word,
Yeah,
but
no, it is. And I
That's-
think, yeah, one other thing on that, though, like talking about somebody who's morbidly obese, I think it's important to, again, know that you can be healthy at all different sizes, too. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not saying, like, you know, if you are overweight or whatever, that doesn't make you automatically unhealthy.
Exactly.
But you should definitely speak with your doctor about it, because, unfortunately, when you are way overweight, there are a lot of
Your
health
body
issues
just
that
has to
come
work
with
harder.
it. You know,
Right.
you're more prone to more ailments and you know, disease and whatever. So, but the point being that you don't have to look a certain way to be considered
Absolutely
healthy.
not, right.
And there are plenty of skinny people out there that aren't
That are not
healthy.
healthy.
They're just got like the lucky
good
genes.
genes.
So they, you know, don't gain any weight, but they might eat like crap, and that will catch up. Maybe not in the size, but it'll catch up in other ways
Right.
internally, and that's no good either. You know, so it's all, like you said, about being kind to yourself. It all just keeps circling back to that same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And exercises, I wanted to say also, because I had someone in my class today that was brand new. She said to me at the beginning of class, she's like, I don't, like, this is new to me. I don't work out. I don't do these things. And I said to her, that's awesome. Make sure you try multiple things so that you can try and find your niche. So I teach a Zumba class, but my style of teaching Zumba is not the same as other people.
Right.
We're all individuals. So make sure you go to more than one Zumba class. Make sure you try different things. Zumba might not be your jam. Should be, but it might not be. So
She
try
might be
different
like
things.
me, and after that first class, be like, what am I doing here? No, this is not okay.
Yeah,
But I was
it's-
signed up for like a block of classes, so I kept going back and
That's good.
bumping
See?
into people.
But at least you gave it a few
Oh, yeah,
tries
yeah.
and made that decision. And some classes, like I go to a class that is kind of like boot camp driven. And I enjoy it. It's a fun time. But if I was going to that class 3 years ago, before I worked out as much and was in tune with myself, I probably would have stopped going after the first time, because their encouragement to me is not
Scary.
Yeah, it's like, don't forget why you came here. Work. And I'm like, shush up. Like, I'm doing I know me. I'm doing the best I can do. But so you have
Some
to.
people like that.
Exactly. You have to pay attention to yourself, especially if you're just getting into the workout thing. Just pay attention to yourself and ask yourself, what's your goal? Like, what do you want? Because
Yeah, well-
it's not about
That's not good for your body image either if you put yourself in some kind of class that you are just completely unequipped for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing going to stop you from exercising quicker than being like, oh my God, I can't do this and feel
Absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
you know, fool in there. You know? But there's so many things you can do from television and videos, and you know, there's like a million things out there you can kind of get the ball rolling while you're at home and do it, you know, where nobody can, you know, where you're not feeling, you know, that's something else too. Like at classes, I notice everybody has that, like, the fear of what being judged while they're at class. And it's like, when you're in a class, are you ever looking at other people?
Nope.
No. Like,
Not
I am
unless I'm
just
doing
worried,
something wrong
especially
and
in
I'm
like
like, how are they doing
this? That Zumba, yes. I'm like, wait, what? Whoa. But with like a boot camp style class, I mean, I'm just trying to stay alive. Like, I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you look like. You know.
Yes.
I could be the best person in the class. I could be the worst person in the class.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I couldn't tell you.
Because I'm just trying to, like, get it done. So keep that in mind.
Yes. No one cares. Yeah, no one cares.
And honestly, when I do happen to see somebody, maybe somehow somebody catches your eye because they're new or they're right in front of you or whatever, I'm always just like, yay for you for coming and trying, because, you know, it's never a negative, like, oh my God, do you see what she's doing?
Right.
It's always like, go, you're awesome, you know?
Community. And again, just be kind to yourself. Like, I think I'm always like, what exercise I shouldn't say I'm always like, but I think about like, what exercise do I hate the most? Push-ups.
Burpees, no?
I'll get down with the blurpees and those things where I always call them blurpees. And those things where you start in the low squat and then you are those frogs? Like you low squat, kick your knees back, and then you jump back into the low squat.
Oh, yeah.
I can get down with those.
Names, but I'm not sure.
But push-ups, I don't like them at all. So those are the ones that I'm always like, okay, going in, I set a number. Like if they're like, we're gonna do push-ups, and I'm like, I'm not doing push-ups. But I'm like, all right, I'm gonna set a number for myself where I'm gonna do, if we need to do 10 push-ups, I'm gonna set a realistic number for myself that I'm gonna do 5, maybe 6, like real push-ups.
With those guns, you can't.
It hurts. I know, it's so weird. Thanks. But then I'll do the other 5 on my knees. Yeah, or, you know, I set realistic goals for myself, but it takes me some time to get there. And sometimes I do shortchange myself. That's me being honest. But when I reflect and look back that I shortchanged myself, now I know that next class I could have done 6, so I'm going to do 6 this time. Like, so
I think as long as you keep moving forward.
Yes, pay attention
even if
to
it's just one more than the last time, you're progressing.
It's true. Yeah.
We're kind of about baby steps. I'm definitely, as a health coach, somebody who really encourages the baby steps, because, and I know that's a turnoff for some people because everybody wants
go big or go home.
Or they're like, they want the result like instantly, but the baby steps are what get like ingrained in your brain and
change your habits.
Yeah. So I think even if it's just one more push-up or one more, you know, kettlebell lift or whatever each time, that
I agree,
makes a difference.
And it makes you, like, it's like anything you think about, like you set goals at work for yourself, you set goals for your kids and all these things. And anytime you're doing something and you're working towards something, you have to, again, be kind to yourself. Hashtag be kind, that's got to go in the thing. But you have to have like milestones, like things that keep you going. So that's why it's important to have those baby steps, because when you have milestones and you're rewarding yourself and you're celebrating your victories, that's what keeps you moving forward. If you're like, oh my God, I still didn't do this and I said I was like, that's not okay. So you have to you have to set those small milestones and celebrate your victories. There's no such thing as a small victory. Like, celebrate.
And another thing I want to add to your setting the milestones too, your body is like the most adaptable vehicle there is. And so if you keep doing the same thing all the time
That's
without challenging yourself or without just pushing it a little bit further, you're not going to, I mean, that's still, again, I don't want to discount it. It's still good. You're still moving and it's good for you to be moving. But you're not going to progress unless you're changing it up and making it a little harder. I always have problems with women who don't want to do too heavy of weights because they don't want to get too buff. And I'm just like, do you know how hard it is to get buff as a woman? Like, you have to eat a certain way and, you know, like everything has to be aligned, you know. I mean, there are some women who do naturally like bulk up easier than others, but for the most part, I'm talking, you know, you really have to work at that.
Right.
So to say, you know, put those 5-pound weights down and push yourself up to the 8 pounds and then the 10 pounds, like, that's not gonna
and do a little research,
make you a beast,
because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So do a little research and find out, because everyone has different body types, and then your diet's going to factor into that also. But do a little research. If you know people that, you know, are into healthiness and fitness and things like that, you know, reach out. But have conversations and learn what would be best for you to do, because that's something that I used to struggle with too. Do I want to do more weights? Do I want to do more sets? And like, you know, how do you balance it out? So you just have to have conversations with people, and this handy dandy thing called the internet. It's pretty useful.
True story.
Yeah.
So circling back to body image.
Yeah.
Getting a little muscle on your body, being a little bit leaner. I talk about women doing weights because that's actually what is the best way to get fat off of your body is with weights, because the more muscle you build, the higher your metabolism goes. And so, you know, you kind of can't beat it, but you do have to be working harder. You can't be doing the easy weights, because that's not going to do it. You have to be pushing yourself, and then as that muscle's repairing for the next 24 hours, you're still burning calories that whole time. So not to get off on a whole, like, what kind of exercise should you do, but that will increase your body image when you even just feeling stronger. You might not even totally look different to other people, but you will feel it yourself and notice even the little changes, and you'll be so much more comfortable with yourself and confident. And
little pep in your step, little bounce, burning more calories while you bouncing. Yes. It's so true, though. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's not an overnight thing, and it's not a one-time thing, and everyone that's watching this is probably in a different place as far as their mindset goes, but
mindset is huge, but that's a topic for another day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's all just little baby steps and repetition, and surrounding yourself with people that are going to support and uplift what you're trying to do.
Not the person who's going to be like, oh, what are you wasting your time doing that?
Right. Oh, you're trying this again? Or, oh, have fun with that, because I'm going to eat this cookie. Yeah, so be mindful of that too. Have a good tribe. Yeah, have a good tribe.
Yeah. And if you don't have those people, find them.
Exactly.
Well, we're here, but there's others.
There's so many. There's so many.
Yeah. So.
All right. We should probably wrap up.
Yeah.
We could probably keep talking, but we won't, because hopefully you watch this till the end and you're like, all right, chicks.
What do you say we wrap this up?
Yeah. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you watching. We would love to hear from you. We are from, again, 10 Open Tabs. You can find us online, 10opentabs.com. You can find us on Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn. Check us out. And, oh yeah, Pinterest too. We're everywhere. And now on YouTube.
Yeah.
So check us out. Let us know what you think. And thank you 1,000 times.
Bye.